Morning, Abotai, Erev Shabbat Shalom. This coming Shabbat is one of the 2 times a year where we read the Tochachot, the curses, Chas v'Shalom, that if Am Yisrael doesn't follow the Torah, there's a whole list of very, very frightening curses that the Torah brings down, once in Parashat Bechukotai, and another time in Chodesh Elul, in Parashat Kitavo. Now, what's interesting is the Gemara tells us in Masechet Megillah, Daf Lamed Aleph Amud Bet, the Gemara says that the curses in Parashat Bechukotai are worse than the ones in Parashat Kitavo, although it's not as long. And the reason for that is because the ones in Parashat Bechukotai were said in the first person. It's a Kadosh Baruch Hu talking. Whereas in Parashat Kitavo, it's Moshe Rabbeinu talking to Am Yisrael Yakecha Hashem, whereas in this week's Parasha, Hashem gives the curses himself. Because of that, the Gemara says halacha that whereas in general, there's no specific stops in the Torah, the aliyot and the chumash are just for reference. You can make up your own aliyot based on the halachot of where you can and cannot stop. With regards to the tochacha, you're not allowed, the tochacha in Parashat Bechukotai, you're not allowed to stop in the middle of the aliyah. The Rashi HaKadosh explains that the reason for that is it seems that a person is repulsed by the musar, and that's why you're stopping. And the pasuk says, "Ve'al takutz betochachto." Don't be repulsed by Hashem's musar. Therefore, you're not allowed to stop in the middle. It has to be read all in one shot. In the poskim, we find different minhagim about who should get this aliyah. Interesting. Agon Kaf HaChaim brings this down in Siman Taf Kaf Het. He says, first of all, Magen Avraham quotes Maharil, who says that they used to have a certain person that they would pay a little bit of money to take the aliyah. That's what they did. Instead of selling the aliyah, they would pay someone to take the aliyah, somebody who needed a little bit of money, whatever it is. The Sefer Hasidim says, similarly, that they would give the aliyah of the tochacha, which, by the way, in this week's parasha is aliyah hamishit, they would give it to an Ama'aretz. Why? Davkin Ama'aretz, he doesn't know any better. Why? Therefore, says Sefer Hasidim, because it's curses, we don't want the curses to come to fruition, so you put an Ama'aretz up there, and whatever he says doesn't matter anyway, so that's there. The Agon Knesset Gdola, Rabbeinu Chaim ben Benisti, he says, no, that's not the case. He says, over here, even if you give it to Talmid Chacham, which he says, by the way, was the minhag in Kushta, in Istanbul, in Turkey, the minhag was to give it to a Chacham. What about the fact that he's a Chacham? It's going to come true. No, because over here, his kavanah is not to curse. His kavanah is to read psukim of the Torah. So there's no issue of giving it to the Chacham. And he says the minhag was to give it to the Chacham HaKahal, to the greatest Chacham in the Kahal. Be'emet, it says in Sha'ar HaKavanot, the Ari HaKadosh would get several aliyot during the year, especially Shirat Hayam, Azeshil Moshe, he would get Aseret HaDiberot, and he would get the Klalot, the Tochachot, in Parashat Bechukotai and Parashat Kitavo. The Ari HaKadosh would go up and get the aliyah himself. The Kaf Chaim ends off, and he says that the minhag in Yerushalayim had become that they give it to the Shliach Tzibur, the Baal Koreh, whoever's reading the aliyot, he's up there anyway. And Chacham, not Talmid Chacham, the minhag has become to give it to the Baal Koreh. Long story short, there's many different minhagim about who to get it from, but it's foolish, among certain sectors, among certain factions of Am Yisrael, it's like a scary thing to get the aliyah. People are afraid of it. There's really nothing to be afraid of, and I'll explain why. If you are following the Torah, then the Torah gives a whole list of brachot that come to you anyway. And if you're not following the Torah, whether or not you get the aliyah, Hashem knows where to find you anyway. So in any event, the aliyah does nothing to change what's going on in life, and that's really every kahal should stick with their specific minhag. But that is the halacha with regards to the tochacha that we read in Parashat Bechukotai. Have a wonderful day and Shabbat Shalom. This evening, early mincha is at 6:20 downstairs, and up here at 7 o'clock. Shabbat Shalom Vorach.